What a lovely day!
Welcome to Flat Earth Debate, Uncut and After Show. I'm your host Nathan Oakley, and if you are new to this channel, or you've not done so already, be sure to subscribe and hit the bell notification icon to keep up to date with all the Flat Earth Debate pre-show and after-show goodness. If you'd like to join the community debate, then go to nathanoakley.com and check out the Flat Earth Debate forum to keep up to date with the community debate. If you'd like to support this channel, there is a super chat that runs alongside each of these shows while they premiere. There's also PayPal, Patreon and crypto link in the info box below the video. I've just had a massive technical emergency, so everything shut down while I was in the middle of a live stream and recording, so I've probably lost both recording and live stream. We shall see. I'll dig them out and probably mirror them on Nathan Oakley 1980 channel if I get an opportunity. But while I set up for the continuation of that live stream, I'll pass you over to the live panel and you can enjoy the dulcet tones of whoever is in there while I set up for the live show.
See, this is what glow people do. They'll tell you things like, well, you have the computer, so we know how the solar system works. That's how you got your computer. See, these two things don't mix, and that's what you're doing. You're mixing reality with fantasy and mixing it all up together and thinking that you're coming up with something
No, it's not just fantasy. It's structural deductionism, which is very good way to go, but it's not the end of it. You actually have to prove every single piece of that seemingly perfectly fitting structure.
Oh, fuck. Sorry for
every step of it, every single step of it, not by structural deductionism, like what you're mastering, but by actually proving.
Guys, how many times are you going to repeat deduction? We've heard it like a million times. We got it, okay?
Because it's really important.
Okay, then let us do something more reasonable. I'm starting my lighter. This is a Coca-Cola bottle, so it's full of oxygen. The cap is off. I will start my lighter. I'll place the bottle on top of it. Why is the flame going out?
This is a non sequitur. What the fuck are you talking about?
What?
This has nothing to do with the sun. This has nothing. This is a non sequitur.
Oh, really?
Lack of oxygen puts out the flame. Correct. What's your point?
Well, what did put out the flame?
The vacuum that was caused by the heat inside of it doesn't allow it to continue burning.
Yeah, then if I get something wider, just give me a second.
Or if you cut off the bottom of that bottle and you did it again, it would keep on burning.
Grade.
I mean, look, we're not going to find out any of these tests with the sun, but here's something that should interest you guys to look into. Okay, now there's a professor of physics called Robert Richardson. He's from Cornell University. He's a Nobel Prize winner for his work on.
Can I just finish my point?
Red flag, red flag, red flag. Nobel Prize, red flag.
Can I finish my point?
Go ahead.
Okay, I took a glass. This time, I started the lighter. I put the glass on top of it. Now, see, when the flame started burning, see what's left? See the black thing?
Good.
That's smoke residue.
Yeah. What is smoke?
It's the particles that are left
Carbonation.
as dust when the chemical reaction of the burning has happened.
Why did it stop? Because it's starting producing what?
Because you stopped gassing the lighter.
No, I suffocated the flame.
I didn't see that.
Why is the flame stopping when it gets suffocated? To room for oxygen to go in.
But it can't move in there because of the heat differential at the time.
Oh, what a day! What a lovely day!
Welcome to Flat Earth Debate, live. I'm your host, Nathan Oakley, and if you are new to this channel, or you've not done so already, be sure to subscribe and hit the bell notification icon to keep up to date with the Flat Earth debate. If you'd like to support this channel, there is a super chat that runs alongside each of these shows while they're live. There's also a PayPal, Patreon, and crypto link in the info box below the video. If you'd like to join the community debate, then go to nathanoakley.com and check out the Flat Earth Debate Forum to keep up to date with the community debate. And most importantly, if you would like to join the discussion, simply mute the page you are currently watching, then click the link in the info box below this video to join the panel and express your views on the shape of the Earth. If you do join, please don't swear. If you do, you'll be ejected, and if you are, please don't try to rejoin the stream using sock accounts. You'll be warmly welcomed back on the next stream. Please also share the show on social media. Sharing the show obviously increases the live audience, but this in turn increases the chances of a more diverse panel. So please share the show. And one last time, if you're new to the channel or you've not done so already, be sure to subscribe and hit the bell notification icon to keep up to date with the Flat Earth debate. Now we are currently joined by Paul, UK Truth, The Plain Truth, The One, Slick James Johnson, Flatten Earth, Eben, Chocolate Saying, Arwin, and Anon. Good to have you all.
Hello, what ho?
What's up?
Hello. Hello.
Good morning.
Good morning. Now, on the last show, it got cut off through technical difficulties, so I'm hoping on this occasion we can actually go through housekeeping in its full entirety. So I don't know if Paul can hear me, but if you can pop yourself on mute, Paul, because I'm having to permanently close your line because there's so much noise coming through it. So, any signs of Earth curvature?
Nothing.
Nope.
Only obstruction due to limited viewing angle and diffraction limits.
Right, axial rotation of the Earth-based variety. Any signs of that?
Nothing.
No axis.
No sign.
No movement.
What about scientific evidence of gravity?
Nothing.
Evidence of what?
Gravity, Travis?
No.
No. A
I think
lot
I
of
know.
suggestive elements, observations, but yeah, it can be tied in, even though it's very suggestive that there should be something there.
Okie dokie.
No.
Aberration.
Right, the distance to the sun. Any signs of that?
No, there is no
None.
distance to the sun.
Any evidence that we can have a gas pressure without a container?
Nothing. No evidence that we can.
Just walk outside. That's
No,
always
see-
going to be their response.
See, you say that in jest. Walking outside means you experience gas pressure. Well, you do inside, but you know what I'm saying. You experience gas pressure, therefore the necessary antecedent must be in play, i.e. a container. So when people go outside, it's not like you go outside and experience the fundy belief of the sky vacuum, is it? You go out and you experience gas pressure, which would be, well, that's the antithesis of having a sky vacuum, because there must be the necessary antecedent to contain the pressure. So I hate that fundy belief. Just go outside.
Yeah, but if you believe you do when you walk outside, then you do.
Then you need to you just look out your window at the blue bit, right? Look at that blue bit. Vacuum, that is. Oh, really?
I
Anyway.
always found it kind of weird that with the really high altitude footage of balloons and everything, even during the daylight, you would see the horizon of the Earth. Yeah, hopefully not with a fisheye lens. It would be like this blue bit, but above it, it would still be black. I was always mystified by that those type of visuals, that it would be a black above the blue. While if you look from the Earth's surface, when it's blue, everything is blue. Everything above us is blue. There is no black up there. And I always found that very mysterious.
Well, there is at night time.
And it's
Yeah,
probably
I'm talking
that
about the
black
day.
that is. Yeah, it's probably that black that has convinced people that there is a vacuum up there, because that line between the black and the atmosphere just looks so defined.
Right.
But
Why don't you see any of it during the day from the Earth's surface?
It's a very good
But
question.
you do see it up there in the balloon. That's kind of weird.
I mean, it's going to have something to do with perspective. It must be, because the band that you're describing is still the vanishing point of the horizon, right? Because that's what you've tracked all the way up into the black. So the fact that the blue suddenly becomes a layer below you, it still must have something to do with perspective. I don't know the answer, but it'd be definitely worthy of inquiry, because it's, we'll start explaining these things now. We know that the sky is not a vacuum. There isn't a second law of thermodynamics for all the gas pressure to dissipate into. Well, what the hell happens in terms of what you see when you get above a certain point? Why do you still have that vanishing point into the distance with the blue layer becoming part of that line? It makes no sense. I understand what you're saying, but I don't have an answer for you. But we'll move on to any evidence of God, I'm never going to get to the end of a housekeeping. It's been a 45-minute housekeeping with the technical issue.
Yeah. I wanted to emphasize again that if you have a balloon and you let it up during the daylight, okay, during the day, like in the middle of the day, that eventually it'll end up with the visual of a separation of a blue layer and the black layer above during the middle of the day. And there's just no explanation for this, really. It's just as mysterious as why we don't see stars up there during the night. It's just
especially the footage with the sun with the real significant hot spot, and it's like the sun's right there, and then you see the horizon black, that means the blue, and then the hot spot. Like it's just weird.
Yeah, but
so weird and beautiful.
To be fair though, Chocolate, that's pretty old footage, and it's only one clip. I've only seen that one clip ever have that. So I'm not too sure that is completely non-falsified in some way. I can't confirm it because there's only that one clip where you see the sun and the hotspot. Only that one.
May I propose a question to everyone?
Not before I've done the housekeeping. So, any evidence of a self-perpetuating molten iron core at the centre of a presupposed spherical Earth?
None.
Nope.
Nothing.
Last but not least, any evidence of that R value, the presupposition of Earth radius? Has anybody had any evidence of that foisted upon them?
Nothing whatsoever.
Nope.
Ah, joy. Right, you may proceed. I am free of my duty.
Just have to believe in R. Just have to believe it.
Now, this is something that I've been looking into, and it does kind of coincide with housekeeping a little bit. Now, if you look at my screen, it's just got a article back in 2010 from phys.org. Now, there's a professor of physics who won the Nobel Prize for his work on superfluidity and helium. And the guy's name is Robert Richardson. He says that within 25 to 30 years that we'll run out of helium. Our supplies of helium will run out. Now, again, this was 9 years ago, so right now it's about 16 to 21 years where we're going to run out. And the helium prices have been going up. I mean, I think if this is true, then if you want to invest in something, buy a lot of helium and store it and sell it off in 16 to 21 years.
Well, you have NASA to compete with because I think they're the primary buyers of helium for a long time.
Now, the reason why it's going to be costly because just like hydrogen, helium is very, very light gas. So what they say is that when it's released, it goes up to the atmosphere and then it gets sucked away eventually by the vacuum of space. So what are your thoughts about this?
Proof?
Nope. They just float up there and they
Where's the proof of it getting sucked?
I'm just holding a helium atom on my screen if you want to take a look at it.
Okay.
What is this?
My thoughts on it.
What is that, Dan?
That's a
nothing
helium
escapes.
atom.
Nothing escapes into the vacuum of space because it's not there. Because if anything would escape into a vacuum of space, then everything would escape into a vacuum of space very rapidly.
Yeah. What about hydrogen? Does hydrogen get sucked in because it's actually lighter than helium? It's the first element.
Yeah, it
So
would.
if okay, so are we running out of hydrogen?
It's not the weight that matters in this case. It's the polarization and the amount of north and south poles in the gas.
Dayan, is that the flux capacitor? What is that?
That's
Got
a
this.
atom. Four north poles and four south poles is the most balanced. Can I finish? Is the most balanced atom. You have a opposite charge in the ground. So helium, whichever way it turns towards the ground, it will always oppose the charge of the ground. And there's only one way that helium is left to go, and that's up away from the ground. Helium's not rising; it's been pushed by the opposite charge of the ground beneath it.
Okay, where's your scientific proof?
Coming out soon.
And one day we'll go to Mars.
Wouldn't it be kind of just better to wait until these things come out and then discuss them rather than say what's coming and then really making really long stories about it? I don't know. It just seems to be a little.
So why don't you go and do some reading then?
I'll present the paper then.
No. All of it's online, guys. I've stated that like a million times. You know, who brought the helium NASA subject? Was it Ivan?
Yeah, that was me.
Have you checked where the most helium in the atmosphere is stationed at?
They didn't
Stationed
specify.
at?
I don't measure it. I don't know.
Have you read what the atmosphere consists of? If you haven't, go and read it and see where the most of helium is, and this will answer your question.
Yeah, but I'll just be taking whoever's taking the measurements word for it. I wouldn't know. I wouldn't be able to test it, measure it myself.
Bingo.
Above the stratosphere, it's in the highest layer that we haven't learned about. I haven't learned about.
I mean, I could learn about anything I want, but whether I'm going to take someone's word for it that they measured it with the instruments that they have that I can't measure it myself, how would I know?
I told you all the information is up there. You have to go read it and observe it.
I know. I understand what you're saying, but do you understand what I'm saying? They have the instruments to measure it. I don't. So how do I have to take their word for it? It's the same reason why we're here in the first place. We're taking these people who have these special instruments, they're measuring it, and they're telling us what it is, and we can't measure it for ourselves. We don't have the instruments. They won't even give us the blueprints on how to create these instruments.
I'm going to answer this question now. Authority, like NASA, when they show you an image of Earth, they're liable about that. So they have to state that it's an image. That's why it doesn't say picture, because they can get sued and prosecuted for that. Then the whole system is based on them giving you all the truth disguised in a different matter, so they can at the end say, so we were wrong in our assumptions. And their hands are clean. Don't you get that?
Yeah.
So they're giving you all the correct information. Just put it the right way together.
No.
No. Again.
Excuse me, no.
That is the most retarded logic I ever heard.
Yeah, remember that picture of the moon passing in front of the Earth? You're going to tell me that that is actually real in any way, then you're just wrong.
No. Did I stated that?
Yeah, you did. You just said that everything they do is right in some way and just twist it.
Information is there. I didn't say videos are real. I said information. And then...
So if the images are fake, the information is fake too. Why?
I said image is not a picture. That's why it's an image. So that they're not liable.
Yeah, so they're creating the image that we see from data. Now, do we have access to the data that they give whoever it is that formulates the image? No, we don't.
I mean, even if we have access to the data, where does the data come from? You know, it could be coming from some program written by somebody who spews out all this information. It's like basically reading Dianetics, and just by reading it, believing in Satans and whatever the Scientologists believe it. So it's in the book. You read it. That doesn't mean anything. And the fact that L. Ron Hubbard, the creator of Scientology, were buddies with Jack Parsons of JPL Laboratory and NASA, that should give you a raging clue. And also, I like to point out that stop using Nobel Prize as some sort of an accolade. Oh, this guy had a Nobel Prize. Obama had a Nobel Peace Prize, and he went to 3 wars. Kissinger has a Nobel Prize. Nobel Prize is a red giant fucking flag, for me at least. I
understand that. I'm just reiterating the article that I was mentioning to everyone.
I understand, but I'm not talking to you per se. I'm talking to Quantum Eraser, who's not here, who just, oh my god, it pissed me off so bad yesterday. I had my very first downvote on this channel was yesterday's listening to Quantum Eraser reading off a bunch of scientific papers as if they're truth, and then requiring Bob to give actual dependent variables and going down to the detail of this. And what is he doing? He's just naming off 5 different papers as proof.
Sorry, I just want to make a slight correction. So what he did was he rebutted when Bob claimed there was no science done from Einstein onwards. So he specifically named people in science that not only had performed experiments but had got a Nobel Prize in physics, not a Nobel Peace Prize. So there are different categories. All right. So there's different categories of Nobel Prize. And while you can sneer all you like at the Nobel Peace Prize, I'd completely agree with you. But in physics, the specifics that you have to meet in terms of the criteria, scientific criteria that I'll add. So, yeah, you can pour scorn on the Nobel Peace Prize all you like. But that wasn't the point he was making. He wasn't trying to lend any credence to his argument. He was rebutting the fact that there's been science done since Einstein. And he gave specific references. But he didn't explain
any of...
He gave specific references that had won Nobel Prizes. That just basically rebutted the assertion made by Bob. So, I'm not being rude, but just try to pay a bit more attention to what's actually being said.
I am, Nathan. I listen to the show almost every day. Like, almost every single day I listen to the show. I pay attention. I have learned a lot from you guys. But what I'm saying is that Quantum Eraser, whatever his name is, he likes for Bob to sit there and give you every single variable for the quote-unquote experiment that apparently he didn't even do. Yet, for all the quantum stuff, we don't talk about any of the stuff that dependent, independent, none of that. We don't talk about any of that when he pulls out this quantum bullshit out of his ass. I mean, quantum mechanics is one of the hardest things that you can actually prove. It's all mathematics. It's all quantifying things that are not quantifiable, like fields and waves. So I don't understand him. I don't understand how you can be so hypocritical while requiring somebody to give you every single...
Hang on, he's coming in right now. Don't get double teamed by these two.
There he is. Here we go. Oh, what's up, buddy?
I understand what you're saying.
Goody, now you made it.
Let's not have a...
Here
Hold
we
on.
go. Here we go.
Stop. Let's not have a massive rumper session. Why does everybody decide to jump on the bandwagon of talking over everybody? So, yeah, we've just got a new guest join. It'd be great if I could just say hello. Hi, John.
Hey, Nathan. How are you, sir?
Very well. Good to have you.
Speaking of the devil.
Okay, let the brawl begin.
Let's go.
All right, so for the first guy.
I was waiting for you to show up.
For the first guy that said about the Nobel Peace Prize, what the hell does the Nobel Peace Prize have to do with the Nobel Prize in Physics, number one?
It's the same prize. Given out by the same schmuck.
Not the same prize, you clown. Number two.
Given out by the same clowns. Same clowns dishing them out.
Hold on, I wasn't done yet. Number two, in the rebuttal to Bob, I didn't offer any people with Nobel Prizes. Nobel Prizes wasn't the subject. I just
You want me to find the actual time?
I just posted different experiments over the past 25 years. So what the hell are you talking about?
We were talking about Nobel Prize last time. You were telling me, you were saying that this so-and-so has a Nobel Prize, or so Ken Wheeler is a retard, but Feynman has a Nobel Prize. That was yours. That was you.
The Nobel. Well, Richard Feynman's an established scientist, son.
Oh, son, stop telling me son. I'm older than you.
Yeah, that's the difference. So, and you said, well, where are all these quantum mechanics, independent, dependent variables, and null hypothesis? Well, what you do in this video right here, you go ahead and hit the show more under the description, and then you go down to quantum eraser and the discussion of the quantum eraser experiment and the delayed choice quantum eraser explained. There's a link down there.
We've already done this.
Yes, I did. And
why don't you do it? Show me right now. We have time. You got somewhere to do. What's the independent variable for the double split experiment?
I wasn't done yet. I showed the complete scientific method for that experiment, step by step. So what are you talking about?
Well, go ahead. Give us a little refresher. What is for the double split experiment? What is the dependent and independent and the null variable? Go on. Let's hear it.
That's a long presentation.
You have somewhere to go? Let's hear it.
Let's hear it for
hold on. Let me just bring a short close to this. So Anon, he's done a full presentation, and in that presentation, I assure you, it has an independent, a dependent, and the control variables listed.
Well, just say it right now. Why can't he say it right now?
I hadn't quite finished. However, that is not the issue that you've raised. You seem to be asserting that John has used a Nobel Prize winner as validity to any assertion he has made. And I already pointed out that he was rebuffing the assertion made by Bob that there's been no science done since Einstein, and then lots of examples given. That's the point.
Okay, I agree with you with that part, that there obviously has been science done since Einstein, but we can agree, at least I believe that personally, that ever since Einstein and them, ever since the Michelson-Morley, around that time, late 1800s, early 1900s, science has gotten a little bit more perverted than usual. Huh?
Whoa, how do you define science?
I was talking.
Yeah, you stopped talking, but you said science has done this. That's a reification fallacy. Science is the scientific method. It's only a method.
I know. A scientific method. I already know. I'm telling you.
Oh, you do? What is it?
I'm talking to Nathan, saying that science has been done. That's what Nathan just said. That there's no.
It hasn't.
Bob is claiming there's no science has been done.
But that's an incorrect assertion, and I'll try and explain why. So science, as John was trying to just point out, is a method, and that method has not changed. It's still an empirical method of establishing the cause of an effect. That has not changed. What has actually occurred is men have appreciated the power of declaration of proof. So if you have something that can be declared to be empirical, and you attribute your, observation or measurement to this proof word, i.e. science, then that's a powerful tool for the purveyors of pseudoscience, people who do things with a non-adherence to that empirical method. But if you can make people think you've adhered to the empirical method, which hasn't changed in 100, 200, 300 years, it's the same method, then you've got a powerful tool as a man deceiving people.
Correct. And what I was saying, and what I agree with Bob, what I'm saying is that act of hijacking science and pretending that you have science while you're actually doing pseudoscience really revved up in the late 1800s. Late 1800s, early 1900s. That's what I was saying. I'm not saying, but and the fact that quote unquote science has been done, meaning that proper science has been done since that time of Einstein, has been done. I agree with you, and I disagree with Bob on that. But what I'm saying, it did get ramped up. That whole hijacking that you speak of has really went on steroids towards the late 1800s, early 1900s. after. What do you think Tesla ended up talking to pigeons? Because he was so pissed off at the scientific community for replacing experiments for mathematics and whole quantum mechanics bullshit that QE keeps talking about. So my point is, I just think that there's
He's
a double
using the
standard with
computer right
quantum
now
eraser where
that runs
he
on
loves
quantum
to
mechanical
I am
principles, and he's
talking.
calling it
I am
bullshit.
so because you're
It's a
Nathan's
clown
friend, you get to
show.
fucking yap all over the place. Okay, got
A
it. I'll
clown
just
show,
go on mute.
sir.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
It's tantamount to being a
It's
pit
so
boss
annoying.
for Richard Petty Motorsports and denying the existence of internal combustion engines. That's your position right now.
Hey Brenda, how you doing?
No, quantum shit is not engine. I cannot touch a cork. I cannot touch a top cork. I cannot touch a charmed cork. I cannot verify any of this stuff without having either Fermilab on my hand or the CERN on my hand. None of this shit is real. This is magic. This is pseudoscience. It's bullshit. It's lies.
It's running based on those principles right now.
No, it's not.
Yes, it actually is.
No, it's not.
Yes, it is.
Okay, I mean, you want you want to talk about quantum computers and their
no, unbelievably, Brenda is backing your argument.
Oh my God!
It's not a quantum computer. The point is that the principles of quantum mechanics are used to build the computer you're using right now.
Wrong.
No, that's not. That's true.
Where?
In the construction. In the construction of the processor.
Well, the wafers. What? Explain. You can't just say in the construction of in the processors. What are in the fabrication? Where are we talking about? What are we talking about? Because it's just transistors. It uses photocells.
Yeah, that's it. That's a big one. Transistors.
There's nothing to do with quantum mechanics unless you're talking about a quantum computer.
Transistors. And you hit right on it. Yep. Solid state physics. That's right.
Yeah, that's quantum mechanics.
Yeah, you got it. Thanks.
Okay, you're just saying words now. Oh, Dielectric.
Hold on. Let's bring clarity. Hold on. Stop talking, please. So you said the word transistors, correct?
I did.
Yeah, a transistor is a quantum. It uses quantum principles. Yes, it does.
No, it doesn't.
Yes,
it does.
Where? Show me. What are you talking about? Explain. We have time. Go ahead and explain it. Explain.
So, right. Who's saying explain it? Who is this person talking right now?
Anon Moto.
Right. When you say explain something, the idea is not to say the words explain it 6 more times while someone is attempting to explain it to you.
I'll go on mute. Go ahead.
So, physics is used to control the electrical properties of semiconductors. So you stick different bits of silicon with different mixtures of other elements, and then you make tiny transistors that basically form the basic bits used to process all the digital information in current computers. It's not quantum computers. It's just quantum mechanics that are used in today's computers.
Yeah,
so
who's talking?
That meant nothing. That literally said
who's
nothing.
Talking?
It's based out of waves that quantum mechanics uses. It's the same thing with light waves used with with CFLs.
Hold on, I've got to do it again for him, Eben. While you're trying to explain it to him, he's saying, all right, okay, so no one can hear what you're saying.
Right.
He's stuttering. He's not saying anything. He's just saying, oh, it uses it.
Let me get this right. So in that pause, Anon, the most ignorant person here at the moment, thought it was the most appropriate time to start talking. You're the one asking something that you don't know the answer to.
Okay.
Try listening.
Okay. Computers are made with semiconductors, right?
Yes.
Semiconductor is a quantum mechanical concept.
That's your explanation. Just the definition.
Yes.
That's your explanation. Come on, Nathan. You should be happy with it. You should be jumping all over this. This is he's just using words. He doesn't explain anything.
He's just using words.
So, do you understand how those principles came to pass?
Yeah, I'm an engineer myself. I run data centers. I set up data centers. I've been in the computer industry at least. Well, I don't make wafers. I'm not a processor maker, but I know what you're talking about. I know what made of. I know what CMOS is. I know what keycams are in routers. I know how. I know the basics behind it. There's no quantum mechanics anywhere. Unless you're talking about a quantum computer.
Okay,
Quantum
hold on,
mechanics.
Anon.
Okay, go
So,
ahead.
John, can you respond to that, hopefully, and uninterrupted?
This is a very deep subject, right? It's not going to be adjudicated right here. I mean, the explanation, I don't know who was talking before. It was the person before Brendo. What was his name?
Eben.
Even no, the person that was explaining the transistors.
Yeah, Eben.
Yeah, he had a really good handle on this, right? I mean, he explained it pretty well. I mean, we're using quantum mechanics as this big umbrella term. I mean, he compared quantum mechanics to the Fermi Lab, Nobel Peace Prizes. I mean, we're going off the rails here. So
I'm saying if you need to do anything quantum related, you need something.
My bad. Of course, it's Anon talking again, John. You were just pausing for breath, so that's ignorant man's opportunity to pipe up. Why don't you shut up?
I don't know when it's pausing for breath or not.
Shut up! You are the most ignorant person here at the moment, and you are doing 50% of the talking. Do you think that's a reasonable balance for the most ignorant person on the panel?
So he asked before. He goes, okay, what is the independent and dependent variable of the experiment? And he wanted to go through that, correct?
Sure.
So the delayed choice quantum eraser experiment by Yunhoo Kim and M. Scully, done in 1999. Do we want to go through the steps of the scientific method here for him real quickly?
I don't see why not. It's a couple of minutes tops.
The delayed choice experiment doesn't have anything to do with designing IC circuits.
Yeah,
that's his favorite thing, though. You gotta let him do it. That's his baby boy. You gotta let him explain that. He gets off on that.
Guys, can I ask a question?
Okay, so are we clear now that you need quantum mechanical theory in order to build a modern computer?
No, Anon's
I disagree,
not clear
but
on
that's
that.
fine.
That's why we're doing this, Brenda. But yes, thank you for bringing it right back on track.
So the reason you need quantum mechanical theory is because without it, you don't have any kind of theory on electron energy bands, right? You don't have a theory of the orbitals of electrons. You don't have a theory of how electricity propagates in a circuit. You don't have a theory of semiconductors. You can't design the materials, right? Because the materials used are based on theories of quantum mechanics in order to, properly put, gallium arsenide or other materials used in semiconductors in order to have a semiconductor. The very concept of a semiconductor is based in quantum mechanics and not classical mechanics.
I disagree, but that's fine.
What?
This isn't a case of an agree.
Apparently, I'm the
disagree.
stupidest person here, so that's fine. I disagree with you 100%.
This isn't a case, again, of agree, disagree. We're not talking about our favorite colors or our favorite running backs. It either is or it isn't. Now, are you ready for the scientific method with that experiment? Because I tracked it down.
Go ahead.
Okay, observe a phenomenon. Photons, elementary particles, atoms, molecules exhibit both wave-like, that's interference patterns, and particle behavior, that is no interference patterns. The alternative hypothesis: if the Witch path information is known or can be known, then we will observe wave function collapse, i.e. no interference, that is matter existing. The null hypothesis: if the Witch path information is known or can be known, then we will not observe wave function collapse, that is interference, and no matter. Independent variable is inside the experimental setup. Paths that are known are detectors D3 and D4. The unknown paths are D1 and D2. The dependent variable, right from the paper, it was predicted that the joint detection rate between 1 and R2 will show interference pattern when detector D0 is scanned along its x-axis. This reflects the wave-like property of the both path of photon 1. However, no interference will be observed in the joint detection counting rate of R3 and R4 when detector D0 is scanned along its x-axis. There it is.
R4 is okay. And by the way, just because you talk like this, it doesn't make it any more factual. That's number
What?
one.
What the
Number
hell are you
two
talking
is
about?
if I cannot
What?
if I cannot talk to you through the whole thing, and you just basically reading a paragraph, that's not going through the process.
You asked me for the
the
scientific method for that experiment.
Okay, so how do we observe a photon? Where is this observed photon? Where is it? Can you show me a photon? Let's hear this. I'm doing it just like Nathan. Show me a photon.
Can I show you a photon? I can't
Right,
show
baby
you
boy,
oxygen.
show me a photon.
Are you still breathing it? Show me a photon. So what you're doing
it's funny, yeah, because it doesn't exist. You can't prove it because you just pulling shit out of your ass.
Would you shut up? You asked me a question about the scientific method with the delayed choice quantum eraser. Let's stick with that. I just gave you
I wanted you to explain it, not read it.
But I just explained it.
No, you read something like this, and you start talking like this as if it's going to make it more
I have it right
factual.
here.
I said explain it in your own words. Don't read the fucking summary of a paper.
Step by step in the quantum mechanics presentation, son.
Oh, son, listen, son. You're not Denzel Washington. Listen, I asked you to explain it, not read a paragraph from the end of a paper. That's what you did, and I pretended it's yours. Explain it in layman's terms.
Just one section.
Explain
the dependent variable.
Show me the observed photon you're talking about. Where are you talking about? Like
here we go off again. Show me a photon.
May I explain it? I'll try to break it down simply. Now, while we can't see, while we can't visibly see these photons and neutrons and electrons,
actually we can.
What we can see is please let me finish. What we can see is the visible spectrum of the elements that we are deciding that they have, whatever number of electrons that these elements have. Now, these visible spectra is used in lighting. I mean, there's a reason why mercury was used in incandescent lights. Now, I mean, fluorescent lights. Now we've got different types of lights, incandescent, CFLs, and LEDs. Now, those no longer use mercury. It's all based on the wave patterns used by quantum mechanics. Hopefully, that can make things simple as far as the explanation. But so the elements and basically the wavelengths of the elements that we use, and we can measure them through the visible spectra. Now, whether it's it's all based off observation, and that these observations don't change. So it's basically just you can't really. The only thing that we can vary is basically stating that, well, it's made out of different material. And so all these different materials, we break it down into elements. So hopefully that kind of makes it a little bit easier to understand.
So we're varying the wavelength, Eben? Is that what it is?
Nathan, yeah, Nathan, if you want to, I'm screen sharing, and this is a image, a holographic image of a single photon. This is a photon. You wanted an image of a photon. This
right,
is an
I'm going to have to give him a warning.
photon.
I can't believe I'm doing this on your behalf, Alan. Alan, if you can't shut up and just listen to what people are saying, it's not say what you see. Yes, it looks a bit like the Cross of Malta. We don't need that pointing out while someone's in the middle of explaining quantum mechanics to you. It's a complex subject. So you constantly saying, show me this, show me that, show me... It's not helping.
Nathan, it's a picture of Knights of Malta. I've seen you talk to Johnny Cerrucci. I've listened to your video with like the 2.5 hour video with him like 3 times. You should know better. Seriously, you should know better. That's not proof. That's a picture of Knights of Malta, pixeled up, proof
No,
shown
it's
as
not.
proof of
No, it's
photon.
not.
Come on, is this your proof? Seriously, put your own foot to your own fire. Seriously, Nathan.
Nice job, Anon. Nice job.
Yeah, that's a great job, Anon. We could end this real quick. There's a double slit experiment, a live
you
one,
can't.
but I think, Nathan, if you showed it, that you might get copyright strike. That's why we could end this really quickly.
No, you
I
can't,
put this
bro.
video up before on Robert Bassano's channel.
No, you
and
can't,
He got
son.
Sorry, my
copyright
bad.
strike.
It's Anon needs to tell you no, you can't 4 times while you talk, John.
Oh,
What is your
he's doing?
malfunction, Anon? What is your problem?
His problem is
pissed
that
off
you're
at-
not doing it, Nathan. If a baller was doing something like this,
Thank
he would
you.
hold his toes to the fire.
Oh,
Thank
But since you got a
It's just
Sorry,
defensive
he's
daddy
best
for
friends
what?
with
quantum
Quantum
eraser,
Eraser.
you
sorry.
don't say anything.
Hold his toes to the
Thank
fire for
you.
what? For what?
Is anybody else seeing this, or is it just me and Earth
Stop
Flatner?
asking rhetorical
This sound-
questions. I'm
this
not
sound with
talking to you,
frequency.
Anon. I'm going to give you one last chance, right? I was talking to Flatten Earth. Flatten Earth, hold his toes to the fire for what?
Or anything.
But for why should I be holding his toes to the fire when he's explaining quantum mechanics, a very complex thing? It's not simply something that can be given in one sentence. It took about 3 minutes to go through the explanation, about what I estimated, right? I said it'll be about 3-minute explanation, and then 3 minutes later, John has got to the end with several interruptions from Anon, saying, no, it's not. Yeah? Yeah, it is. This is a scientifically valid principle. Yeah, it does have an independent and dependent variable. It's not as simple as giving you in one sentence. The delayed choice quantum eraser isn't simple.
Can I say something? Is it okay? I'll take that as a yes. Why don't we have a 2-hour, 3-hour show every day? Why don't we have John come and go through the whole process meticulously, slowly, instead of just reading a paragraph
I
that takes 3
already
minutes?
did.
Hey, can I see? I'm talking.
Yeah, but you didn't
already
listen.
did.
You didn't listen to the answer. John, right at the beginning, said you go to the information box. There's quantum mechanics video in the information box of this video. It lasts less than 3 hours or whatever you're giving him now to do it. It's been done!
Okay, I'll watch it, but let me ask you this.
Oh, really? Don't ask me a damn thing, you stupid moron. Go and watch it, understand it, then ask me something.
Let me ask you
It's a lot
this.
more than just a delayed choice
When
quantum
someone
eraser
shows you
experiment. I start off at ground
photon,
zero with
a close-up photo, how do you? Why do you take that as if? Why do you take that in face value? If someone showed you a picture of Pluto close up, you would say, "You're a wanker. Get out of here. This is not a picture. This is just a picture you conjured up."
Okay,
But somehow,
I'll give you an answer. I'll give you an answer.
Of a photon,
I'll give you an
that
answer.
Somehow you don't care.
Okay, I'll give you an answer. But before I do, John, can you just disconnect and reconnect again because your line seems a bit dodgy. So, science may not seem useful at the point that the experiment has become validated. It's ultimately most useful when technology is applied to the scientific discovery itself. So you have, and I can't believe I'm going to do this, I'm now going to hand back over to Brenda to explain it to you again.
Explain what?
Brenda, was that a wave frequency that gave an actual Knights of Malta symbolism? It almost looked like a cymatic sound.
But the fact that you think that it looks like something doesn't mean anything. I mean, that's called pareidolia. The fact that you can see faces in the clouds doesn't mean there's actually clouds in the faces. So the fact that you can see the Iron Cross of Malta in an image of a photon doesn't mean it's actually that.
And the fact that I see a picture of Pluto on Pluto doesn't mean anything, correct?
Correct. That's pareidolia.
Yeah, for sure.
Right.
Or they're
Right.
just
That's like
fucking
seeing.
with you and
That's like
laughing.
seeing.
They're
The
jumping on their
point is.
desk, laughing at you.
The point is, seeing faces in clouds doesn't mean that those clouds are those faces are there. It's just you. It's just you imagining things. So if you see the iron cross of Malta
Lovely.
in the picture of a photon, that's just you imagining things.
Oh, okay, sure, totally, Brenda.
Yeah, that's how it works.
How is
Yeah,
this, Nathan?
okay.
Is this any better?
Yeah, everything's good now. I
Sorry
was
about
actually
that.
hoping for you to point out how once you have scientific validity, Brenda, you can then apply it to things and benefit from the technology.
Well, sure. Like the fact that we know that the Earth is round, we can then apply that to many different instances, like map making. Do you have a flat Earth map yet?
Oh, so you just used that? You used me trying to
There we
side
go.
with you, that one opportunity to slip that in. Yes, it was about as useful a non sequitur as your Pareidolia or Simulacra example. That wasn't where I was trying to lead you,
Oh.
Brenda, but you're about
Well,
as
the reason
cooperative
that-
as I should have expected you to be. Yeah?
Yeah. You should expect somebody to point out where you're wrong.
No, I was asking for your affirmation of what you had said already in regards to the usefulness and application of quantum mechanics to technology. You decided to use that as an opportunity to have a little dig and claim that somehow this proves we're on a sphere, which it doesn't.
Yeah, we can use prior technology and prior science to deduce facts about the world around us.
No, that wasn't the example I was hoping you would make. I was hoping you would make the example of how science can then be applied to technology, not how technology can be applied to your bullshit religion.
You think how after how you've treated me in these past few months that I would be nice to you? No, I'm not going to be.
I'll treat you however I like.
Yeah, I know exactly. Therefore,
Why would
I'll
you
do
talk
whatever I
about
like.
being nice to you? What does this have to do with the discussion?
Nothing.
It doesn't.
Nothing at all.
It doesn't. So the question was, how can I trust that picture of a photon is real? That's what Anand asked. And the way we can trust that is simply that there is a community of people. There's a peer review process. It has the work that those people
That's
was
right.
published in a reputable journal. It was published in a reputable journal. And
What are you doing, Anon? That's your last chance. Get out. You're a complete prick.
Good day.
Not a good day. You're an asshole. Get out.
the way we can trust those results is because there is a community of scientists who abide by the scientific method, who double check each other's work, who undergo a review process, a peer review process, and there's reputable journals in which they adhere strictly to the social norms.
What's the
of
point?
scientific
What are you
community.
trying to get to?
That you can trust the results published in reputable journals. They're trustworthy.
Well, that depends on whether they're following the scientific method or not, correct?
Yeah. And they
Because
do. And that's why you can
1%,
trust that that picture I posted was, in fact, a picture of a photon.
Less than 1% of all scientific studies that are published in scientific journals follow the scientific method. So you have to be real careful in generalizing.
You don't understand the scientific method, Quantum Eraser. No, you don't. You and Nathan have a gross misunderstanding of what it actually consists of.
Okay, what's
Brenda,
the
you don't understand
method?
the picture of Malta, how you got the
Here we
picture
go
of
back
Malta.
with Malta again.
We got the picture of Malta
Hey,
by,
listen, Brenda. Before we
by
get
laser
on to this,
interferometry.
I want to get back to this photon thing. Like I said, there is a live double slit experiment right in front of you that's done. And like I said to Nathan, I don't want him to show it because we'd get copyright striked. But Nathan, I'm going to put the title of this video inside. I can't even find it. It's Quantum Mechanics Double Slit Experiment. Is Anything Real? It's by Professor Anton Zellinger. So just put that in a search engine. Quantum Mechanics Double Slit Experiment. Is Anything Real? Professor Anton Zellinger. It's going to pull up. It's a very short video. It's only like 3 or 4 minutes. And he does a double slit experiment live that shows photons hitting the detector one at a time. Okay? So let's solve that little subject right there.
I want to say hello to our new guest. Sorry, John. We've got Zinda. How you doing, Zinda? Good to have you.
Hi, everyone. Fine. How are you doing,
very
guys?
well. Very well. Good to have you.
Here it is, Nathan. Maybe you could post that somewhere. That's the title. Just type that in. It's got Morgan Freeman on it. He's interviewing Professor Anton Zellinger. He shows you the double slit experiment right in front of your face. So there you go.
Nobody's who's denying the double slit experiment?
I'm not. He's denying photons. This was getting to photons as particles.
Anon.
That's what that guy was. What was his name? Anon.
Yeah.
Anon. All right. Anon.
Yeah. He's a Ken Wheeler disciple. They don't think photons are particles and stuff. So all you have to do is just pull that video up. It shows you right in front of your face.
Can I ask a question?
Sure.
First of all, how do I get in touch with Quantum Eraser? And then I did a force-slit experiment, which we have captured on video and explaining all about it. And then can I finish my point about fire?
I don't see why not.
Okay, so what fire does is, first of all, we have to start with igniting the gas. That means that our fuel, the gas, needs to be short-circuited. We do that with turning the thingy or the stone where it produces sparks, so we have an electrical charge. Then the fire starts. All gas lighters burn 100% of their fuel. There is no excess vapors coming out of the flame. What happened here in the glass, I want to explain what the black part is and why it happens. We've done an experiment with this. It's all film documented. All the data was taken, how the amount of this here and when and why it occurs. It's all explained 100%. Now, what happens is when you light up a light, the thing that it's producing, it's two open systems that interact with each other. When you isolate air from fire, you isolate the open system of the fire, so it cannot interact with the open system of the air. That means that when you have fire building up inside the cup, the connections and the black stuff, the black marks that are made from the fire condensing itself and restructuring itself back up.
Yeah, that's not true.
Brenda, you're a clown. You know that.
No, the black stuff on the inside of a glass when you light a fire is carbon.
Oh,
it's soot. It's soot.
Brenda, see, why isn't it appearing now? You know, when it appears on the glass, you can hold it as close as you want. It will never appear. It will only appear when the flame touches the glass. That's because the flame compacts, condenses, and the charges inside the flame can get back together and they form something else.
No, those are unburnt. That's unburnt fuel that's collecting on the surface of the glass.
Show me a gas that it's not burning 100% of itself.
Yeah, plenty of fuels. Like in
gas,
your campfire.
I said, not fuels.
Any
gas,
candle.
Gas.
Any candle.
Fires. I said gas, not fuels.
Well, it doesn't always. It doesn't always burn all of the fuel that is present. All of the butane that's in your lighter. And it deposits carbon on, because you can scrape off that carbon and then test it and see what it is.
Yes, but why does it deposit it when it touches the glass? I can hold it like a few millimeters off the glass and there's nothing black left on the glass. Why?
Because the flame has different temperatures in it, right? And so there's a portion of the flame where it's as hot as it's going to be, and there's other places in the flame where it's cooler, right? And when it's cooler, that means it doesn't combust all of the gas.
And why is that with the different temperatures? Has it something to do with air around the flame?
I don't know. What difference does
Yeah,
it make?
it does. Let me now answer this question. If you hold it 2 millimeters of the glass, air can pass through that distance. So there is no flame compression or compaction. So it cannot form carbon dioxide if it's a gas. It will only burn 100% of the gas.
Sir,
What do you think a
excuse me,
flame is?
excuse me, real quick, for us guys that are lost here, what you guys talking about? What is the point of what you're saying here? Because
I
I'm
don't
sure
know.
people, I'm sure people. No, I'm talking to I don't
Yes, like
remember
I
his
was
name, but
sitting
I'm
here
sure
saying, okay, what's the
people
point?
want to know what this.
I'm speaking about, yeah, I understood your question. I'm speaking about, just let me get the word in English, 1 second. The division of dielectrical planes, of dielectric planes, the way they divide, and how
Yeah.
static works when it's divided.
If you are watching this on Nathan Oakley 1980 channel, then stay tuned as there will be an after show to follow. But if you're watching this on Nathan Oakley channel, unfortunately this is where we bid you farewell, at least for the short future. Be sure to check out nathanoakley.com if you want to keep up to date with the community debate. I've been Nathan Oakley, and I'll see you all in the next video.
Oh, what a day! What a lovely day!
The opposite process of condensing electricity is decondensing electrical charges. It's not fire, it's
Yeah.
electric.
What does it mean to condense an electrical charge?
But wait a minute, I'm still a little bit unclear. But why? I
It's
mean,
gibberish.
what does this mean? I mean, what is the point of this? You're explaining to us
To
how
refute bulkheads particles existence.
It's
What?
just gibberish. What he's talking is just gibberish.
Yeah, no, I'm a clown.
No,
Yes,
no,
you are.
it's no. Listen, no, don't let it descend into that. I'm just trying to understand because I'm sure it's not just me that's wondering where is this going. You're explaining this for a reason. What is the reason, and what does this have to do with anything? Is the question.
Because, James, if I tell you dielectric plane, the word plane, what does it come to mind? Do you know how this show is called?
God.
Flat Earth debate, and Earth is maybe a sphere or a plane.
Or an
Let's make
airplane.
the connection with planes and spheres.
So
What?
so this is a demonstration of how a butane lighter explains a plane.
How dielectrical planes inside molecules and what we call atoms divide, and how they are formed back into planes.
Look, you're killing me,
That's why
man.
Earth is made a plane, because that's what all it can do.
Shout out to Fucked Use for hitting the super chat after the show had ended.
Go ahead, ask him again, Slick.
Yeah, I'm just trying to understand what is the point of all of this. It's just, in other words, I'm not able to tie what you just did with the lighter and the glass and the explanation to what the shape of the earth is. How did you come up with that? I mean, I don't know. I'm not asking that question because I don't want you to explain it. Because, when you make an explanation, you take 10 or 15 minutes of this long, drawn out story, and it's not connected. None of it is connected to anything. Nobody has ever looked at the earth and wondered what a butane lighter had to do with it.
So from here you go
Well
back
said,
and read
Slick.
everything about dielectric planes, and then we come back and we continue the conversation, because I'm not going to school you right now. Sorry.
I'm not trying to be funny. It's just that you're explaining something, but you don't
To read
realize the
that.
audience that you're explaining it to. We kind of want to know where you're going with it, but you're kind of not leading us anywhere. You're just kind of, we're just lost.
Into the show,
But
go to
Brent is the
the
same way too.
presentation,
She's
and then you
explaining
have
things
the
too.
answers.
may I try to break it down? Maybe I might be able to help. So with the dielectric plane, it's think about it as the north and south pole of Earth. Okay, now the globe uses the magnetic poles of the north and south pole to explain, I guess, the shape of the Earth being a sphere. But the thing is, when you just break it down with just the dielectric plane, it creates, you've got one side of the electromagnetic spectrum going one way and you've got the other polarization going the other way, but that doesn't necessarily make a globe. Now it creates a flat plane of just kind of a neutral just kind of boundary between those two opposing poles.
There's a
So
person that did some reading. That's good.
hopefully that can explain it. You can look up dielectric planes and just click on images and you can see a couple of diagrams. And a lot of these, again, you're going to ask, well, how can I see this in real life? Well, you can use it by using electromagnetism and using like small metal pieces, and you can see the formations that are being made.
Okay, so is the existence of the dielectric plane proof of a flat Earth?
Yep.
No, it has nothing to do with it.
Hold
Yeah.
on, Brenda. I'm not asking you. I was asking the person that was just explaining that.
Sorry.
For me personally, no.
Okay. How about for? I'm sorry, I don't know your name. The guy that. Yeah, you. What's your name?
Dayan.
Dayam?
Dayam. No, you can go with Dan, Daniel, whatever you like. I don't mind.
Whatever I like. Okay, Oscar.
Just start with the D. You can go with Dick as well.
Just call him the one. Call him the one.
Okay,
Hello,
Oscar.
one.
Are you trying to say that the existence of a dielectric plane is proof of the flat Earth?
Yes.
Okay. In less than 2 minutes, can you explain? You don't have to get detailed. How you connect the two? Hello?
His image looks frozen, so his connection may be bad.
You take 2 sticks. You look at the angle of the sun.
Yeah, thanks.
Oh, that's how you prove that the Earth is curved.
Oh, goodness gracious.
Oh, I get them mixed up, Brenda. What do you think?
Okay, now Oscar's back. All right, Oscar, in 2 minutes. I know maybe you need a little bit more, but just connect it.
Who's Oscar?
That's you. That's you. You said he could call you anything you want. He decided to call you Oscar.
All right. I didn't got that. Sorry. I said anything you like, starting with a D.
A D is in Delta?
So can you repeat the question, because I didn't know it's for me to listen very carefully.
Yes. You said you were talking about the dielectric plane. First, tell us how you get the dielectric plane, and then connect that with the flat Earth and how that proves a flat Earth, please.
Yeah, this question poses another question as an answer. I'm not playing smart or anything, but it's tightly connected with what makes your brain produce thoughts.
Oh, brother, we're going to get off the deep end here. Listen, explain
That's
how
why I want to get
the dielectric. Hold on a second.
Lunatic.
Hold on a
He's
second.
a full-blown lunatic. Yeah.
I'm going to say this one more time. Show the existence of the dielectric plane, number one. What causes the dielectric plane, number two, and how number 1 and 2 connect with proving the flat Earth. Is that good?
Yeah, that's really good. That's a very sound question. So first, dielectric plane, you can see with running some electricity towards magnets, and they'll go straight to the dielectric plane. Dielectric plane is just a static charge that's in the middle, that's dividing the magnet to start in the north pole, and that's directing the orientation of the charge of the field. So the charge travels from north to south because of the dielectric static plane in the middle.
Okay.
Anything else? Did I miss
is
something?
that it? Was that hot? Okay, so you're saying that on a sphere we couldn't have a dielectric plane, right? Because it's a plane.
You can have it in a small size, but then when you scale it up, you get because this can only occur in a disbalanced system. You'll get the gradient. So solids will go down, and then liquids and gases will go in the middle and up. That's why it's a plane.
Yeah, you lost me right there.
One pole is positive, one is negative. That's why you get the gradient.
Yeah, I'm not talking about gradients. I'm trying to figure out the shape of the Earth with this. So what you're saying,
Well,
because it's a dielectric plane, that you couldn't have a dielectric plane on a large sphere. Is that what you're saying?
Well,
Just show an image. Just show an image.
Let me try to break it down to it. Think of it as the globe model uses gravity to explain the atmospheric pressures. Now the dielectric plane, it uses centrifugal magnetic lines as far as being able to determine pressure gradients.
Oh, so this is a pressure? You're talking about a gas? Why?
It's not gas. It's magnetic.
No, I'm talking about this explains gas pressure gradients in our atmosphere now?
Yeah, it explains why solids are down beneath our feet, then why water is on the surface, and then why gases are up because of the north and south pole. There is a charge running from north going down to south. So lighter things go up, heavier things go down.
So rather than the gravitational theory of mass, it's basically a pressure gradient of density theory.
The amount of static charge in the
based
particle.
on magnetism. So
not
I think I know what he's.
Static charge. Not everything has a static charge. It doesn't explain an awful lot of things.
I thought we were on the shape of the Earth, and then we're now on to pressure gradients, gas pressure gradients. You're going to have to put this in some.
It's not gas pressure
structure.
gradients. Again, you're misrepresenting.
No, there is a gas
centrifugal magnetic pressure gradients.
I'm just asking. I'm not misrepresenting it. It was a cluster screw. Get your act together. Not you, the guy that's proposing this. Put it down in some kind of coherent framework. Like claim. Here's my support, conclusion. Then claim,
that's going to be
here's
really
my
hard
support,
for him.
conclusion. Right?
Can I answer? Is quantum eraser, right?
Yes.
I've done a 5,000 page report with over 90.
Why would it take 5,000 pages?
Can I finish?
Oh, goodness.
He doesn't want 5,000 pages, dude.
How big are their letters?
Can I finish? Can I finish?
He doesn't want 5,000 pages.
I mean, what does the amount of pages have to do with the veracity of a topic?
Shut up.
Oh, boy.
Okay. Let me just try and ask again in a different way. So first and foremost,
So can I still give you the answer of the question you asked, or you don't care?
I do care. I was gonna summarize the question, the one which is to say, first and foremost, what's the claim being made?
Claim being made that what we used to call atoms are made out of polarized electrical charges.
Okay, and that's useful to this panel because what?
Because the mechanism that creates them creates a surface or a plane. That's why Earth is a plane. The whole process is about planes. Stacking planes around a central plane, going up, getting smaller in radius, and then the same thing down. It's like the double slit experiment.
How does that show? Hold on a second. How does that show that atoms don't exist?
For fuck's sake, can you shut up, man?
How does it show that atoms don't exist? You went from one topic and you went to another. It's non
You
sequitur.
heard me say atoms don't exist.
Yes.
I said what we call atoms are made out of polarized electricity, not that they do not exist. I think
Oh my God.
Sound waves.
although
I'll
I'm
be back.
Bulgarian,
Brenda,
I still can
sound
understand
waves.
my English correctly.
Right, Dan, let me just jump real fast, and I hate to do this because I hate to see people interrupt. But what I'm
Yeah,
saying
and
is
I'm
that
getting a single point across here. It's like I'm
no,
trying to
hold
take
on.
away gravity from globe heads.
No, what I'm saying is that this is just a couple hour show, and what you're presenting is something that's going to take a days. So what I'm saying is that, you just don't understand the environment that you're in at the particular moment. This is just a bunch of people getting together for an hour or two.
All right, that's why I wanted to answer Quantum Razor's question in about like 30 seconds, but I wasn't being allowed to.
Okay, right. Nobody interrupt Dion
I
in the
got
next 30
interrupted
seconds.
like 20 million times. So, 5,000 pages that's the full technical size of it. Then there is a 50 pages representation. All the 90 experiments were brought down to 9 experiments. For now, they were all tested and they all give 100% accurate results every time they were tested. So now we're filming the experiments, putting down all the correct hypotheses, all how we went through the scientific method, and then there is detailed explanation about how this process follows itself by creating bigger, more complex geometrical patterns, all having dielectrical planes inside them and creating the pressure gradient. It will be 2.5 hours of a live presentation about the discovery.
All right.
I think sometimes
sorry.
he's getting the details. He's talking about the details without describing the whole, and I think that's part of the disconnect
It's a huge
here.
subject. That's why it's complicated.
Well, can we connect it to the slit experiment where Brenda asserts the Knights of Malta? Now, she's saying that it's being used with an interferometer or a spectrometer. And now my question to Brenda is just a yes or no, please, not an explanation. Is it being used by magnetic waves, electric waves, to get that symbol of Malta?
Can I answer that
No.
question?
No, it wasn't.
That you call an electron?
They used a laser. They used laser interferometer to produce a holographic image.
So that's just it, just plain and simple, but has nothing to do for the double split experiment.
Double
Saying it's an
slit, and
electron.
it's not double split. Double slit experiment. I don't know why you're even bringing this up. What does their picture have to do with the double slit experiment?
Well, it's just one thought that it's very complex on the quantum side. I want to look at the as an objective side to see if there's another observation based on magnetism or electrostatic.
There is one. There is
on
one.
that light.
I've done it.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
There is one, and I've done it. We did a 4-slit experiment with 2 horizontal and 2 vertical lines, showing the result. It's very detailedly explained. You'll see it in the official paper. It's all there. Relax.
Well, I need to see the official paper. I need to see the observed phenomenon, the alternative hypothesis, complete with dependent independent variables, the null hypothesis, and the experiment with controls.
It's all there. Don't worry. You'll see it.
5,000.
Okay.
Quantum.
Is this the same experiment that you showed the Big Bang theory?
How do you mean? What do you mean the same?
Well, you said you were on the show 2 or 3 days ago, and you said you were going to scientifically validate the Big Bang.
This is what happens during the Big Bang when I discharge the electrical when dielectric plane gets discharged, it forms other stuff.
Okay, the Big Bang. Define the Big Bang for us, please.
Discharging of an dielectrical plane in a certain space. So when it fills the space, it compresses, then it contracts because it breaks its own etherical DNA and RNA links.
Yes, that makes perfect sense.
Yeah, that was
Yeah.
mostly, that was just word salad.
That's just, I can't believe you just said that. What was the observed phenomenon?
Condensation of matter from plasma, and we've done it already.
Condensation from matter from plasma. Where'd you get plasma? Where'd you see this at?
I got it from an experiment that I saw online.
No. We don't get it from the experiment. The observed natural phenomenon, please.
The observed natural phenomena.
Yeah, that led you to the experiment.
The division of dielectrical planes.
So you've seen the division of dielectrical planes in nature. Okay. Where'd you see this at?
Like you're standing on it every day.
God. Okay. Thanks.
You're welcome.
So it's not really a natural phenomenon then.
Well, everything is in nature. Everything is natural.
Okay.
People are natural.
Yeah, a tree is a concrete noun. It's not doing something. A leaf falling from a tree, you could argue, is a phenomenon.
Yeah, anything you can observe is phenomenal.
No, because you can observe things that are just simply concrete nouns. There's nothing happening. A phenomenon.
You can't observe nouns.
Sorry, it's something that is happening, an occurrence.
Yeah, but the tree grows.
Arguably.
We're all over the map here. Listen, maybe on the next show you could start off with the scientific we could share your screen and you could show us scientific validation of the Big Bang Theory. How about that?
That might be a good opportunity for me to round out for the Nathan Oakley 1980 audience. So with that, I'll say a huge, massive, enormous thank you to all of the debating panel for making this after show possible. And of course, a massive thank you to all of you in the Nathan Oakley 1980 premiering audience for hopefully tuning in, sharing, subscribing, hitting the super chat, all that good stuff. Be sure to check out nathanoakley.com to keep up to date with the community debate. I've been Nathan Oakley, and I'll see you all in the next video.
Oh, what a day! What a lovely day!